When you think about gay rights, what or who do you think about? Pride, rainbows, activists, Obama? But have you ever thought about riots? Well, one of the biggest gay rights movements was that. Exactly. The Stonewall Riots was a success in history and diplomacy because it started the first Pride in its memory, it was a catalyst for gay rights, and it brought gay rights to the public eye. It was one of the most important events in gay rights. The Stonewall Riots was a 6-day riot from June 28, 1969 to July 3, 1969. It took place at the Stonewall Inn, a gay club in Greenwich, New York. During this time, it was not a good time to be gay. Just asking a person out on a date who was the same sex as you was illegal. And many other things like it was illegal too, like same-sex public displays of affection, same-sex prostitution, and same-sex marriage, and, of course, gay bars. Because in the 1960s, in New York, you couldn't serve alcohol to only gay people. So, because of this, gay bars were often owned by the mafia, which probably made the police not like them even more. And it was often hazardous, like no running water or not having a fire exit. Raids at gay bars were very common, and Stonewall was no different. The police came with a warrant for an arrest, and the people there were fed up with constant raids. A lesbian who was being arrested yelled out to the crowd, "Why don't you guys do anything?" And that got people attacking. They were throwing anything they had at the police, like coins and bottles. The riots lasted for the remaining days. Pride was a riot. At least that's what people like to say. But that's only kind of true. See, Pride was created because of the Stonewall Riots. It was a parade held on June 28, 1970. And then it became Pride Month. It brought a bunch of people together to create this event. Now, that is why the Stonewall Riots were a success in history. Not because it was a riot, because it brought people together to fix the problems that caused the Stonewall Riots to happen. Up until the Stonewall Riots, most gay rights movements were passive and less often, as they would try to move the political scene, but that wasn't really working. A very prominent one at the time was the Mattachine Society, one of the first gay rights groups who used politics to move their movement. When the Stonewall Riots happened, they wrote up on the boarded windows pleading for the return of, quote, peaceful and quiet conduct on the streets of the village. It seems that they wanted peace, and that's what many groups did. Many new groups came up because of the Stonewall Riots. In the wake of it rose the Gay Liberation Front, which was a more radical version of the Mattachine Society, but never rioted. So gay rights organizations made it the aftermath of Stonewall shows diplomacy as they came together. So, as you expect, it got a lot of news coverage, though it wasn't that flattering. To quote Full Moon over the Stonewall Riots by Howard Smith from The Village, the crowd shrieked, "Police brutality! Pigs!" The turning point came when the police had difficulty keeping in the patrol car.
The sound filtering in doesn't suggest dancing anymore.
Pine glances over me. "Are you alright, Howard? I can't believe what I'm saying. I feel a lot better with a gun." But even though it wasn't a very nice image of the protesters, it did get the word out there, as well as other news articles. It helped the spread of the word of it. Then more gay rights groups were created who were spreading the word of gay rights through diplomatic methods. Now some of you may be thinking, it was a riot. Who cares about the aftermath? The rioters could have hurt the cops by throwing stuff. Which, yeah, but at the riots, it was the rioters who were put in more dangers than the police. To quote Full Moon over the Stonewall again, And while the other cops helped, he slapped the prisoner 5 or 6 times, very hard, and finished with a punch to the mouth. So, the rioters were put in a lot of danger, but they were able to come out on top and change the world. No matter the way you look at it, the cops were the bad guys here. So, as you can see, the aftermath of Stonewall was a success in diplomacy and history. It created Pride, one of the biggest gatherings for the LGBT. It launched many gay rights groups, and it brought gay rights to the limelight. It was one of the most important events in history, and I'm sure you can see that by the points I made.